So there's always a lot of information out here. So I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, how much information, meaning like down payment assistance and the various things that, these states and cities have to offer in regards to home ownership are out there. And then I was thinking in the context of a book I was reading that was talking about when you get to a point where there's an oversaturation of information, how typically people tune out. Right. So let's say if we were on a website and there was an influx of blogs and it was a blog site and it didn't sort them in any kind of way, at some point in time, you get to a point where it's just like, I don't know where to go. So I'm just not going to go anywhere. And I think like in the home ownership spectrum, there are a lot of programs in a multitude and a facet of different things in different areas, but it's almost too much to comprehend because it's not localized. It's not broken down in a manner that people can say, oh, I can get to that very easily. And if something's difficult to get to, people are not going to go towards it. So I think that might be one of the issues that we face, currently.
Yeah, I think that's perfect, man. Right, and there's a lot of information, right? You have a homeowner, you have an investor, right, and all this stuff is thrown at us every single day. I mean, every outlet you go to, right, every form of media you go to, you find someone talking about investing, talking about being a homeowner, talking about being a wholesaler, all these things, right? But I think when it comes to home ownership, it's like, focus on just buying your first home. Focus there, right, in terms of actually understanding the process, because that process is going to be the same if you're an investor or you need to build off of that in the future as well. So you're right though, man. I think if it's not laid out right, there's a ton of terms out there, mortgages, PMI, interest rates. If it's not laid out in a really consumable way, people are going to walk away because for some people it's the first time they've ever read any of this stuff. And I think that's where we come into play, right? We have the ability to package it in a way where it's very easy to consume. Provide that knowledge. I think one of the things I'll piggyback that you told me, Kobla, is that we're not here to make you do anything, right? We're here to really just provide you the information and allow you to build off of it and know what's going on. Because I think historically, I'll speak, specifically my culture and your culture, Kobla, right? We lack knowledge and information of how to find the assets that we're looking for. And I think it's important for, women like us to be able to provide that for individuals and not just provide, but package it, right? And be there throughout that whole process too, right?
And to piggyback what you're saying, the packaging thing, so I was reading a book, Atomic Habits, just talking about habits in general. And as a second book I read on habits, first one was Habits by Charles Duhigg. And long story short, it was saying like, if you're trying to create a new habit, like it should take you 2 minutes to do it. Meaning that you set it up to do it for 2 minutes and that's it. And that's how you begin to start said habit, whatever it is. So if it's working out, if it's eating, whatever, you do it for 2 minutes. And the likelihood that you'll continue is probably pretty big because you're like, it's only 2 minutes. Well, I'm here now, so I might as well do it for 5. Right. But when I think about home ownership, what part of that process can you do in 2 minutes? There's no part of that process that's going to take 2 minutes. Not one. Not one. So the barrier to entry is wide, and that's not just for our culture, though it has impacted us culturally over the years. But it's not something where you're like, oh, I could just go down to the corner store and apply for it. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. And don't let there be any other factors, Tina. Some of the things you spoke about, the wellness part and being aware of things that may have happened in the past that have impacted your thought process in terms of making decisions, et cetera, that most of the time people don't touch on when it comes to making these type of major decisions. What is the irony about that is in life, making major money decisions, no matter who it is not an easy thing. You know what I mean? We have risk spectrums for individuals who are CEOs, et cetera. You know what I mean? Like who's the risk taker and who's the person who's more calculated and who's the person who takes more information and makes an educated judgment. You know what I mean? There's a spectrum of individuals as leaders who we just look at in terms of risk aversion, et cetera. And then you're talking about potentially segueing into something that you more than likely have never done before, but are going to spend the most money that you've ever spent in your life. Hell, some people are upset when they lose $10. You're like, hey, I lost that $10. You know what I mean? So now you're like, hey, do this thing. And you're like, what? The 80, 60, whatever the cost may be. You know what I mean? So
yeah.